Hello and welcome to Soul Sunday in the SOAR community. And I am here with Headmaster Mae Glen. And Mae and I have just been having some really dynamic, powerful, phenomenal conversations lately. And as with everybody, there's so many things going on in people's lives, in their health, in their business. And so one of the things that we've been sharing a conversation about is when things really hit, when they hit hard, and how do we have gratitude when we feel like it's actually elusive? We can't find it. We know it's the right thing to search for, and yet it really is just being evasive to us in all of our efforts. So maybe Mae, you can just kind of help us with this conversation because it's a big one and we know gratitude matters.
Well, I can probably help you with this conversation more than ever. Because as you know, I don't know if the whole community knows, but I've just gone through like a really, really tough month. It's been about 6 weeks now. And as you know, I talk about gratitude all the time. And one of the things that I desire is for a deep gratitude just to be a part of my day-to-day life. This is just something I'm reaching for. I understand that gratitude is the ultimate form of receivership. And I just think there's so much waiting to be received by me that if I can open my receiving, I can, like, the sky's the limit. And so gratitude is really important to me. It's something I've been like practicing and cultivating, and not just going like, hey, thanks, Laurie, but really like feeling the feeling of gratitude. And so because I know this, and I do use my own tools on myself as much as I can, about 2 weeks ago, I said to myself, if you were working with a client right now, what would you say to them? And what popped in my head was gratitude. Like, what can you find to feel grateful for? And it's shocking for me to hear this come out of my mouth, but in that moment, I could literally not think of anything to be grateful for. It's shocking to hear that because honestly, I have so much to be grateful for. But in that moment, I was in a severe amount of pain. And I literally I was so far from the vicinity of gratitude, where gratitude lives. I was like on the other side of the world, and I could not think of anything to be grateful for. And this shocked me, actually. And I was sitting with that for a bit, and I thought, well, what do we do when we can't find it? And then I was talking to a friend, and she said, how has Andrew been through this experience that you're going through? And immediately,
wow,
I found gratitude. I didn't get overcome with gratitude, but I could taste it. I again was in the vicinity. And so I wrote that down, like, oh, I'm so grateful that Andrew's like taking care of like making some meals and getting some food and like the basics of life and kind of like nurturing me and taking care of me. And so that allowed me to experience gratitude. So I know enough that when you're in that, if you can be in that space for 68 seconds and really feel the depth of gratitude, it can grow. You can have another thought comes, and if you can stay in it for 68 seconds, another thought can come and another thought can come, and you can actually, it's like pouring water and sunlight on that seed. You can actually start to feel more and more gratitude. So
what is 68 seconds? I have to ask. 68 seconds?
I know, it's so fascinating, right? And I don't know the science behind it.
Okay.
There have been these studies that have been done that if you can hold a thought for 68 seconds, more of that will come. So you're in that vibration strongly enough. You're holding that vibration strongly enough. It's not just a fleeting in and out.
Okay.
It's not just a pop in and out, but you're actually holding that space. You're holding that, for people who know about sympathetic resonance, you pluck the D string and it's vibrating for that long. And so sometimes I'll have people actually do this, put their timer on for 68 seconds and hold the vibration that they want to experience for that long. And normally, if you can hold it for that long, it can grow. Like you'll have another thought that is related to gratitude, or another thought that's related to whatever the feeling is that you're experiencing. So I can fast forward to now. And after having had that practice, I actually, again, I just want to reemphasize that I have laid out who I want to be in 2 years. This is the work I'm doing with myself right now, and it's the work I'm doing with my clients right now. So I have laid out who that person is, and that person for me is to be really living in the space of gratitude. Again, ultimate form of receivership, all that stuff. So for me, I want to be living in a space of gratitude, and I haven't been over the last month. I could hardly find it for a while there. But then my recital came, and my dance recital, for those who don't know, and I was able to do it. And given the last month and a half, in a way, it seemed like an impossibility that I could even do that. And I fell into such a deep state of gratitude for my body that it could do that based on what the last month was like. I'm not sure I've ever really lived in that deep a state of gratitude before. Like, it was just so, I was in awe of what my body could do, body, mind, of course, but what my body could actually do, given the depth of difficulty it was in, to then, kind of shining on stage. It was just beyond me. And I kind of went into this whole thing of, if I ever judge my body again, if I ever say mean things to my body, if I ever, am not being kind to my body, if I ever do any of these things, just show me, because my body's crazy. I just went into this overwhelming sense of gratitude. And I thought, well, isn't that interesting to go from, I can't find it, to I'm like crying now talking about it, because it's just such a deep space of gratitude. So I'm a little bit all over the place, but just talking about gratitude, I've been talk about the ebbs and flows and the going from one extreme to another. It's really been present for me of late. And so if you're in that space, just know that you're far away from that vibration, but the tiniest little thing can get you closer.
I think it's such a good lesson in when the big stuff hits. I feel like, almost listening to you, we're also then looking for the big solution, which is, I need the big gratitude, right? Whereas if we can just hold to one tiny thing, as you were going through your health issue, my daughter had broken her ankle, and very similar is she actually the one day said, I will never take my leg for granted again. I just had no idea how much they do for me every single day, and yet we don't typically pause and say, oh, thank you for my feet, for my legs, for my power, right? So I think it's, and I know myself, I'm looking for the big win. I'm looking for the big fix. I'm looking for the, what's the big thing that will help me?
I want to be in gratitude. I want to be living my life in a state of gratitude, forever. Oh man, kind of thing. It's like, in that moment, just that one little drop of gratitude was like all I could find.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing the story. And I think just the reminder for all of us that in the lowest points, in the darkest points, in the most difficult points, search for that one piece of gratitude. And when we come back, when Betty Mae joins us again, I want to plant the seed that we're going to have a little conversation around judgment, because even as you were talking, I was just judging myself on how I've done it right or wrong in the past. So next time on Soul Sunday with Betty Mae, we are going to talk about judgment. So thank you for joining today and sharing your insights as always. Headmaster Betty Mae.